Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk. This is Talking Shirts episode number 109. I'm Mike from Hull KR Shirts, and today we're going to take a look at the 2023 home shirt. Now, we've covered the 2023 home shirt in the past, but this one here was worn by Tom Opacic. I've not had the opportunity to be able to talk about Tom on an episode of Talking Shirts, so I thought now would be a really good time to start. Here we are. So yeah, the 2023 home shirt. As I've said, we have covered this in the past, so I will kind of like sort of square my way through it. But this one here is in a very well-worn condition and has a few nice little sort of interesting tidbits to it as well. So we'll discuss those as we go through. So yeah, as you can see here, it is an all-red front shirt that is supported with white sleeves and white side panels with white cuff collar line. All of the sponsors on the front of here, as we have come to expect during modern day times, have been dye sublimated into the shirt. So we've got IRS, they take the collar spot, which is now sort of maybe more collarbone, I suppose is maybe a good way to describe that. We've got Aspire Academy, the Oxen Maker Marker, and the Hull KR Club Crest. And then we have also got Connexen across the front. These gel grips that we have become accustomed to seeing on Oxen player issue shirts with the Oxen sort of logo with the V with the line going through it, and that is very well worn. These are picking and peeling everywhere. I'll see if I can get some nice close-up shots to be able to include some either video footage or some pictures for you to be able to see that, because this is starting to peel. It's been washed so many times. I get the feeling it was probably worn quite a bit during the 2023 season. There's some sort of damage markings going on to the front here as well. Absolutely fantastic for me to be able to see some things like that. There's a bit of the cotton here as well, where that's really sort of worn thin. I will pop a close-up picture of that for you, because that is like really interesting here, where you can kind of see the red cotton is just completely worn thin. This shirt has been ragged about so much and I love it. Up here you can see where this red stitching has just completely sort of disintegrated. You know, it's not even connected in parts. It's just completely split, which is absolutely brilliant. As we look onto this sleeve here, we've got Richardson's Food and Safety Consulting Limited. Mark, an avid watcher of Talking Shirts, he always gives me compliments on my episodes. So Mark, again, thank you for your feedback, and I love being able to talk about your branding appearing across Hull Kingston Rovers match shirts. Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. Just below here, we've got the University of Hull sponsorship, and this is an absolute mess. And I love it. I keep saying that, I love it. Sound like Kevin Keegan. So yeah, what we've got going on here is the University of Hull sponsorship. That has actually been applied, removed, and then reapplied. And you can actually see where there's kind of a big square of a little bit of mess, shall we say, that's going on. And that's because this has had a sleeve patch applied to it. Now that sleeve patch will have likely have been a competition patch. Now, because I'm a bit of a geek, I know there was only one game during the 2023 season where we actually wore cup patches on both sleeves, and that was the 2023 Cup Final, Challenge Cup Final. Now, this shirt wasn't worn in that final, and I know that because the club had embroidering across the centre of the shirt with the game detail on for the players. However, every player had a spare shirt for that cup final, and I believe that this was Tom Opacic's spare Challenge Cup Final shirt from 2023. Now, Tom never changed his shirt that day, so this shirt, it didn't get anywhere near the pitch. It could have quite easily been pitch side, but it most definitely wasn't worn on the hallowed turf of Wembley Stadium. But I've got a really strong feeling that this would have been his backup shirt should there have been any damage or the need for blood or anything for him to actually change shirts during that game. The reason why all of this is broken, because it's been removed and then reapplied. You can almost see where this bird here has got a sort of second representation to itself, and the way that it's kind of all transferred over. As I've said, it's an absolute mess, but I love it. We have got the Robin icon taping that goes down the back of the sleeve and the front as well there. And then underneath here, we've also got some sort of damage, which looks like a little bit of residue that has come through from the University of Hull sponsorship. You can kind of see a bit on the top as well, but that's gone underneath. And then we've even got some grass stains, which could be from many of the different stadia across England. But yeah, really interesting to be able to see that under there as well. Can you believe I've done more talking about a sleeve than I have the entirety of the shirt? Honestly, the geekiness that I sometimes get to, these different levels are a bit ridiculous, really. On this sleeve here, you'll see again we have got this damaged cotton at the top. Love being able to see that. It usually implies that there's been quite a lot of to-in and fro-in and pulling of a shirt during the season. And then here we have got Easy Buy. Their logos have been dye sublimated in. And then we have got the Betfred Super League competition patch. Now under here, there has been a second one, because I can see where this white bit here forms part of the frame of the Betfred Super League competition patch. But then this blue one that has a blue edge to it, that is a Challenge Cup patch. So it supports my theory of it being the spare shirt for the Challenge Cup final. Then with a Betfred Super League patch applied over the top of that, so it could then be used back in the Super League competition again, which is obviously why the University of Hull was reapplied. We also wore competition patches in the Cup at home in the quarter-final. That was against Salford. And then obviously we also wore them against Wigan in the semi-final as well. So there is the potential that this shirt was used in those games as well. I still need to do a little bit of research. When you've got as many shirts as I have, it's difficult to find the time to find which games all of them were worn in. But this is one where I've kind of earmarked it for the potential to be worn in quite a few of those games, most notably because of the damage across the shirt. Once again, we've got the Robin icon taping, which kind of goes underneath both of these here. But sadly, there's no real grass damage down here, just a little bit of red, which has probably come through from this Easy Buy logo when there's been the spray applied to remove some of these sponsor brandings. Cool. So that's been the front and the two sides. We'll have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we're back and we'll have a word about Tom Opacic.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to episode number 109 of Talking Shirts. Here we are with Tom Opacic's 2023 home shirt, and we are now here with the reverse. So the back of the shirt, colour-wise, is a complete sort of replica of the front. We've got the solid red back, as I previously mentioned, supported and coupled with the white sleeves and the white side panels on either side. We've got Harrison Solway's logo and the higher base sponsorship. Those have been dye sublimated, both in white, exactly the same as the front, which really does make those sponsors boom. And it also adds to a nice aesthetic element to the kit as well. We've got the Robin icon that features in that really prominent position. I'm a really big fan of the icons application on all 3 of the 2023 shirts. I thought that was kind of the strongest application of it, shall we say. In 2022, it was higher and a lot smaller, but this was peak for me. It does appear on the back of the 2024 shirts as well. On the home shirt, because that is predominantly white on the back, it appears in the white circle, the red circle. I'm not a massive fan of that. I do much prefer it in this sort of environment on the back of this shirt here. You can see here where the GPS tracker is, and there's been a mark here which has clearly had something. The best way for me to describe it to you is it almost feels like it's quite hard, like chewing gum has been stuck to the back of the shirt at some point. I don't think it has. I feel like something's been used to stick the GPS tracker down in the back, but that's definitely what it feels like when you touch it there. Really, really sort of hard. As you can see here, we've got Opacic and the number 3 that has been heat applied to the back. Opacic was applied to the club as sort of a name set block, so all of the spacing in here is absolutely perfect. It's been applied in really in a really neat and good way, this one. When I saw it and when I picked it up, I was really happy with that. And the number 3 it's not quite perfectly central, but it's not too far off. Not something I'm going to grumble too much about. Quite sort of content with that placement. I am just going to talk about Tom Opacic in 2023. Obviously, we're partway through the 2024 season now, and when I film, I normally film a little bit in advance, so the stats that I give aren't necessarily always going to be correct. So I am just going to kind of focus on 2023 with regards to Tom Opacic. So in his debut season for the Robins, he made 30 appearances, scoring 9 tries. Very much sort of known as a defensive based centre, more so than his strike attack. But you know, his ratio of 1 try in every 3 games from centre probably isn't too shabby. If you was to compare how many tries he's saved in terms of his good defence and his tackling, it would probably outweigh his attacking contribution. But he was somebody that during the 2023 season did start to add something to our right edge defence in terms of a little bit of stability in an area where, as a club, we have probably struggled quite a bit for quite a while. He's also retained his number 3 squad number for the 2024 season. He has been in and out of the team, mostly due to a shift in position for Petr Hiku, who was intentionally purchased to be a fullback who has been playing at centre. So Tom's game time in 24 has been limited. I'm not going to sort of quote how many fixtures he's played in, just because, like I say, at time of recording versus at time of publication, those two numbers might not mirror up. So I feel like it's best to not to sort of compare on that one. But for me, he's somebody that's never really let the club down. He's somebody who has always had a really good, strong attitude to his performances, and somebody who I've really enjoyed watching during his time in East Hull, and hopefully it will go on from strength to strength. So that's been the tour of your 2023 home shirt. Like I say, we have covered this a couple of times in the past, but it is the first time we've had the opportunity to talk about Tom Opacic. Kind of wanted to get a little bit of conversation started about the detailing that's on these sleeves with the sort of change of sponsors and the sort of the damage and just how that does then sort of have sort of knock-on effects for how the shirt's condition does sort of get managed from those moments on. So yeah, really interesting, and I suppose a little bit of a different feature to this episode of Talking Shirts. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back in another 2 weeks with a new episode. 110 will be the next one. In that episode, we are going to cover a shirt from the 2009 season, which was obviously the most successful Super League season, arguably probably until this one in 2023. And the shirt that I'm going to bring to you was worn by a Hull KR hero in Clint Newton. Check back in 2 weeks and I'll be here with that brand new episode.